Good evening. This is the national news telecast on ChannelEye Rupavahini. I'm Uvin Hettiarachi.
And I'm Hishain Ali.
And here are today's headlines. President says a certified price of 100 rupees for a kilogram of paddy. A request to impose a tax on imported potatoes. A Sri Lankan woman dead in the Turkey earthquake. Steps taken to collect outstanding revenue taxes worth 200 billion rupees. A program to promote tourist hotspots in Anuradhapura. Another unidentified object shot down in Canada.
On to those and other stories, and your top story for tonight is President Ranil Wickremesinghe instructed the government officials to take the necessary measures to purchase a kilo of paddy at a guaranteed price of 100 rupees.
The president further said that the northern province and Jaffna district will be developed as a province capable of supplying food to Sri Lanka. These remarks were made by the President Wickremesinghe this morning while attending the Northern Province harvest ceremony as Paranathan in Jaffna. The President inquired about the problems related to paddy cultivation from farmers of the Paranathan area and assured that immediate solutions will be provided to these problems. President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the government promptly provided the required fertilizer to the farmers. He said that in his belief, there will be a surplus of paddy harvest in the Maha season. Accordingly, he said that arrangements are being made for the government to purchase a kilo of paddy at a guaranteed price of 100 rupees. He said that many people are currently experiencing financial difficulties. Even if the yield increases, he added there is a segment of the population that lacks the financial means to purchase rice. Therefore, he said the government is implementing a program to provide 10 kilos of rice free of charges to 2 million families during March and April. Then by the Sinhala New Year season, they would receive 20 kilos of rice, he added. The president said approximately 3 metric tons of paddy has been received per hectare. At present, he said the government requires a minimum of 6 metric tons of rice per hectare. He said that they are expecting to increase it up to 7 metric tons. The government is working to provide the necessary facilities to achieve the target, he added. The president said more methods of purchasing and storing paddy will be developed in the future. He added that the government intends to build small and medium rice mills, saying that the government will be able to succeed in those activities in the next 2 years. The president added that in those they have planned to provide necessary water facilities to these areas, and the government is working to restore the Purarin Lake. Iranamadu Lake has now been prepared, he further added. President Wickremesinghe said that they are working to transform the Jaffna district and the northern province to a province that is capable of producing enough food to feed the country once more. In addition, he said the government expects to take steps to start the production of animal feed. Following the meeting, the president visited the Pannam Khandi field in Kalanachi and discussed problems of the farmers. A large number of local people had gathered to meet the president. The president engaged in a friendly discussion with those gathered and specially focused on the children and inquired about their educational activities. The Jaffna District Cultural Festival was held yesterday at Jaffna Fort premises in the celebration of Sri Lanka's 75th National Independence Day. The festival was held with the participation of President Ranil Wickremesinghe. The event, which showcased the rich Tamil culture of the northern province, was attended by a large number of people from Jaffna and featured a massive music concert. The music concert was the highlight of the event, featuring several South Indian artists. A large gathering was present at the festival. Minister Douglas Devananda and Indian Fisheries State Minister L. Murugan were also present at the occasion. In addition to the cultural festival, an independence commemorative parade was held at the Jaffna Cultural Centre, bringing together all 5 districts of the northern province to present various dance elements. President Wickremesinghe was also present at this occasion.
Meanwhile, Minister of Agriculture has informed the Secretary of the Ministry of Finance to impose tax on imported potatoes. The aim of this request is to safeguard local potato farmers and cultivation. Local potato harvesting for Maha season has commenced. Local potato farmers have pointed out that the prices of their harvest have declined with the arrival of imported potatoes to the market. The Ministry of Agriculture has launched an initiative to discourage the potato importers during the local potato harvesting period. Many farmers have been compelled to give up on farming largely due to importing potatoes during harvesting period. The program expects to increase the seed potato production up to 9 million. Seed potatoes were cultivated in nearly 100 acres of land in Borolanda area. The harvesting of the cultivation was commenced yesterday and measures have been taken to expand the cultivation in the area. Agri-modernization project expects to supply new technology, water distribution systems, equipment to protect the cultivation and seed potatoes on free of charge. The relevant initiative will provide necessary facilities to purchase the seed potato harvest, and Minister Mahinda Amaravira pointed out that steps will be taken by the government to prevent the potato imports and encourage the production of potatoes required for the country in order to safeguard the local potato cultivation. The death toll of Turkey-Syria earthquakes has exceeded the 33,000 mark. Sri Lanka Embassy in Turkey has confirmed that the Sri Lankan woman who disappeared following the earthquakes was found dead.
I'm Hasanti Urgudawati Disanayake, Ambassador of Sri Lanka in Turkey. I'm coming to you with some sad news. A Sri Lankan lady who was missing in Kahramanmarash area has now been found to be dead. In fact, for 3 days, her daughter was also in the area, and the embassy was coordinating with the pastor who had saved his life in the Kahramanmarash area, a Sri Lankan pastor. Daughter is also there, and we coordinated with them and AFAD so that they can go to the location where the building was and to start debris removal process. Earlier debris removal did not happen on certain places where they thought survivors could not be found. But then with utmost effort and with the help of all these people, we managed to get the debris process, removal process on. But then at one point it stopped because there were no vehicles to remove the debris, what was taken out. So then at that point, our Honorary Consul in Gaziantep also stepped in and supported us, and then the process started. But unfortunately this morning, her body was found under the debris and the daughter identified.
The number of deaths in the Turkey rose to 29,605 today, while more than 4,500 people have died in Syria. More than 33,000 people have been killed and tens of thousands injured after a magnitude 7-point earthquake struck Turkey and Syria last Monday. A 10-year-old girl was rescued after 147 hours under the rubble, the latest in a series of harrowing stories of success as workers in Turkey continue to search for survivors. Rescuers were still looking for survivors in the earthquake rubble 6 days after the disaster. 24,921 buildings across the region had collapsed over heavy damage during the quake, based on the assessments of more than 170,000 buildings. Meanwhile, Turkey vowed today to investigate thoroughly anyone suspected of the responsibility for collapse of buildings in the country's devastating earthquakes nearly 1 week ago, has already ordered detention of 113 suspects. Vice President Fuat Oktay said that overnight that 131 suspects had so far been identified as responsible for the collapse of some tens of thousands of buildings and flattened 10 provinces affected by the tremors early last Monday. State Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya says special attention has been directed to collect outstanding revenue taxes due to be charged by the Inland Revenue Department.
And the State Minister made these remarks while commenting on the media reports on the loss of over 200 billion rupees by the Inland Revenue Department. State Finance Minister Ranjit Siambalapitiya said that a certain amount of the 200 billion rupees of outstanding figures have already been collected. He said that necessary plans and procedures for the payments have already been formulated and agreed. He said that this report consisted of arrears ranging back to 30 years in the past. The State Minister pointed out that special attention has been directed to collect the outstanding revenue taxes. Accordingly, he added that the Inland Revenue Ordinance will be updated and introduce provisions to collect the necessary outstanding taxes.
Many political parties have taken steps to organize rallies and meetings for the upcoming local government elections. Several rallies were held yesterday as well. A rally organized by Samak Janablavegaya was held in Vennapur yesterday with the participation of opposition leader Sajid Premadasa.
අවශ්‍ය ජාතික ආදායම වැඩි කරනවා. ඒක අපි කරන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන්ම රට බංකොලොත් කරපු, රට විනාශ කරපු, රටේ සල්ලි හොරකම් කරපු, මංකොල්ල කාපු සියලුම දෙනා නීතිය හමුවට, අධිකරණය හමුවට ගෙනෙනවාමයි.
A public rally organized by the National People's Power was held in Kagol yesterday with the participation of leader of the NPP, Andra Kumar Disanayake. A meeting of the Kalathura district representatives contesting from Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna for the local government polls was held in Payagala. Meanwhile, Freedom People's Front held a meeting for the candidates contesting for the Codiwell electorate. Frontline Socialist Party also organized a public meeting in Dehiwala yesterday.
Meanwhile, Minister Bandula Gunawardena says the opposition leader should brief how the IMF program would materialize under the government in the parliament and not on the political stage. The minister made these remarks while responding to a recent statement of the opposition leader. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa said that negotiations with the IMF should be carried out confidently and such straightforwardness would benefit the country with relief from the IMF. He said that SJB government will not accept any dealings reached by the present government and the president who are without a public mandate with the IMF or any other international lending agencies. Minister Bandula Gunawardena, responding to these comments, said that the opposition leader should make these remarks in the parliament. He said that the former president requested those with expertise to free the country from the ongoing crisis. Accordingly, he said that 28 international agencies agreed to represent the country at that point. He added that a cabinet subcommittee was appointed to select a company out of 20 recommended companies. Accordingly, he said that Lewd company was selected for the task. However, he pointed out that if any other person is willing to take up the responsibility, then it would be a money saver for the country.
We'll be back with more news after a short break.
Love story ekata fun rasa add karagana hot and spicy kella velama. Happy Valentines Day. Prima kottumi share the hot and spicy love every day. Prima kottumi fun tamai.
Now on to more local news. Matsuri Japanese League Center, opened by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena and Ambassador of Japan Mizukoshi Hideki in Avisavele yesterday. The centre in Sitawaka expects to educate Japanese language and culture to the youth free of charge. The Sri Lankan government and the Shimomokikoko company in Japan have jointly initiated this project. Director Shimomokikoko, the Hiroyuki Shimomotori and Ambassador of Japan Mizukoshi Hideki and other qualified youth would be provided employment in Japan through this program. The Japanese and Sri Lankan teachers with the highest Japanese proficiency will be engaged in the Matsuri Institute to conduct classes. Ambassador Mizukoshi Hideki said that many Japanese companies operating in overseas companies in Japanese recruit highly skilled workers from Sri Lanka, and knowledge of the Japanese language is a prerequisite for those jobs. Prime Minister and the Japanese ambassador said the youths of Sri Lanka with fluency over Japanese language will also serve as a strong bond to further strengthen the friendly ties and cooperation between Japan and Sri Lanka. Parliamentarian Yadamani Gunawardena was also present at this occasion.
Tourism Development Authority of Sri Lanka has launched a program to promote attractive hotspots in the World Heritage City of Anuradhapura. Anuradhapura was founded in the 5th century BC and was the capital of Sri Lanka from the 4th century BC until the 11th century AD. The city is the cornerstone of the Sri Lanka's archaeological survey, and tourism related to the ancient city is a significant factor in the country's economy. Vesagiriya in Anuradhapura is situated in a 20-acre site. It is believed that the Vesagiriya sacred site was built by King Tissa II period. Vesagiriya has been closely associated with Isuramuniya and considered as one of the most important monastic establishments of the period. Ancient chronicles reveal that 500 bhikkhus, including Prince Aritha, who ordained after listening to Dhamma sermons delivered by Arahat Midu Mahatera, resided at the Vesagiriya sacred site. The trail to the Vesagiriya site is surrounded with dramatic sceneries created by the Mother Nature. Those who visit the site will be astonished over the architectural prowess of the ancient Anuradhapura kingdom, creating a mesmerizing scene view for the pilgrims as well as the tourists. A pod of 11 pilot whales was stranded near the shore on Kalpitia coast yesterday morning.
Measures were taken to free the whales back to the sea with the mediation of the residents of the area. 14 pilot whales were stranded near the shore in Tudava Kalpitia coast. The Kalpitia wildlife officials said that 3 of them were dead coming onto shore. With the mediation of wildlife officers and the residents of the area, steps were taken to rescue and free the whales back into the sea.
Meanwhile, national television journalist Gaumani Bandara Manikdewala has been awarded with the Best Journalist of the Year on international stage. He received the award at the International Eminence Excellence Award 2023. The award ceremony was held at the Radisson Blu Cannon Hotel in UAE. Four persons reported dead after a boat capsized on Minachio Day Lake in Kokadichole, Batticaloa. The police said that the 4 deceased persons have been identified as a teacher and 3 students. The deceased students are reported to be 16-year-old, while the teacher is a 27-year-old. The deceased are residents in Velawali, Kagwile area, and they were a part of a group of 11 students studying in grade 11 and 3 tuition class teachers who had visited the area. It has been reported that the accident had occurred when 3 deceased students were riding on a canoe in the lake. The teacher, who had attempted to rescue the students who were submerged underwater following the capsize, had also drowned, according to Kokadichole police. The bodies of the deceased are kept at the Batticaloa Hospital.
The annual feast of the Our Lady of the Lewd statue in Kaluthara Holy Cross Church was held last evening. Many devotees participated in the feast. The Holy Mass was conducted by the Auxiliary Bishop of Colombo, Reverend Bishop Anton Ranjit. The feast was organized under the guidance of the parish priest of the Kaluthara Holy Cross Church, Reverend Father Leo Calamus. We'll be back with foreign news after a short break.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prema Kottumi share the hot and spicy love every day.
Thousands of people in New Zealand have been left without power as parts of the country endure the start of a severe storm.
Gabriel struck Australia's Norfolk Island overnight and has begun to lash the northmost region in New Zealand. The forecasters have issued a red heavy wind and rain warning for the Auckland and Northland with 200 millimeters of rain and winds of up to 130 kilometers per hour expected. They have been told to ensure that they have enough supplies to last 3 days in case they are trapped at home. The storm, which has been downgraded from a cyclone, comes a week after the torrential rain inundated the city of Auckland, which has remained under a state of emergency. Tens of thousands of sandbags have been distributed there due to the concerns that the sodden ground and the weakened infrastructure have made the homes more vulnerable to the flooding. Air New Zealand, the national carrier, has cancelled several domestic flights ahead of the storm's arrival. On Norfolk Island, which covers just over 34 square kilometers in the Pacific Ocean between New Caledonia and New Zealand, authorities said they were clearing debris and trees from the road and restoring power knocked out from the storm. The US believes that unidentified objects shot down over Norfolk American airspace on Friday and Saturday were balloons.
And according to Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Washington has been on high alert since its military destroyed a suspected Chinese spy balloon last weekend. While he didn't say specifically that the latest objects were Chinese, Mr. Schumer told ABC on Sunday that Beijing was likely using a crew of balloons that had probably been all over the world. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau confirmed that the latest object was shot down on Saturday over the Yukon in northwest Canada. Both Canadian and US aircraft were scrambled to track down the object, which Mr. Trudeau said violated Canadian airspace and was taken out by a US F-22 fighter jet. Mr. Trudeau confirmed on Saturday he gave the order and had spoken with US President Joe Biden. Canadian forces will now recover and analyze the wreckage of the object, he wrote on Twitter. 3 objects have been shot down over North America in total in the last week, and the American military destroyed a Chinese balloon last weekend. And on Friday, an object the size of a small car was shot down off Alaska. China has denied the balloon, which first entered US airspace on 28 January, was used for spying purposes, saying it was a weather device gone astray.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prema Kottumi share the hot and spicy love every day.
Now on to sports news, we are looking at the world of cricket at first. The Sri Lankan's women's teams will be competing against Bangladesh tonight in their second T20 match of the ICC T20 Championship. The match will begin at 10:30 p.m. tonight.
The match will be played at Cape Town, South Africa. Sri Lanka won the first match of the tournament, defeating South Africa by 3 runs. Sri Lanka's competitor Bangladesh is playing their first match in the tournament, and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh have met 10 occasions previously. Sri Lanka has won 6 matches, while Bangladesh has only won 4. Both England women's and Australia women secured victories in the ICC World T20 Championship matches. England won against West Indies by 7 wickets, and West Indies batting first scored 135 runs for their innings. England won the match by chasing the target in the 14th over with 7 wickets to spare. Meanwhile, Australia secured a 97-run victory against New Zealand. Batting first, Australia scored 173 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. Chasing a mammoth target, New Zealand was only able to score 76 runs for their innings. India won the first test against Australia by an innings and 132 runs. The match was played in Nagpur. Batting first, Australia scored 177 runs for their first innings. In response, India scored 400 runs for their first innings, and Australia only managed to score 91 runs in their second innings. Accordingly, India secured an impressive win against Australia in the series opener.
Currently, the inter-club rugby tournament is ongoing in the island. In today's encounter between the Sri Lankan Air Force and the CNHFC, the match resulted in a triumph for the Sri Lankan Air Force. The match was played at the racecourse grounds in Colombo.
Sri Lanka Air Force scored 44 points against 31 points of the CNHFC to secure the win. The match between Sri Lanka Police and Sri Lanka Army was held at the police grounds, and police won the match by 15 points to 14 in a close encounter. And the match between Sri Lanka Navy and CRNFC was held at the racecourse grounds, Colombo, yesterday. Sri Lanka Navy won the match by 37 points to 17.
Happy Valentine's Day! Prima Kottumisha, the hot and spicy love every day.
That's it for tonight's English News Update. Thank you for joining us. Good night.